Hi, my name is Kevin, and I got a problem, and it's me. Yeah. Loneliness. I mean, I chose gratitude and acceptance because, I mean, those things have brought me through my life for the last 3 years, and have been part of my rock, my foundation, you know. And I'll be honest, like in the beginning, when I was a child, before I even touched anything, I was already a liar, cheat, and a thief. Right? I was. It's just what I did. And it was so easy for me. It was easy to take on these negative attributes than it was to work hard and build those positive beliefs and morals and everything that I needed to grow up. And, so I just did what was easiest for me. And I skidded around and lied, manipulated, and cheated, and stole, and did the least amount of work possible to get by. And in the process, tried to look as great as I could. And I hit a bottom, for sure. I got to a point where I was so ashamed of myself that I couldn't look myself in the mirror. I didn't want to be seen by my family. They were right. I ran away. I didn't want it, unless I was so desperate that I had to ask for something. And I eventually got to a point, this is the story Jody was talking about, where I'd already come into recovery when I was bouncing around from house to house. And I had just finished my last relapse. This was 3 years and a day ago, I guess. Whatever. And I phoned him after I relapsed, and Jody was my sponsor. And I said, I just relapsed. He said, well, what happened? I said, well, I was sitting at home alone. And he said, well, why were you alone? And I said, well, I was sitting at home, I was watching TV, and I was by myself. He said, well, why were you alone? And I said, well, what do you mean? Like, I was at home, I was by myself, I was watching TV. He said, yeah, but why were you alone? I said, I lost it. I'm like, what do you want to hear from me? Right? What do you want to hear from me? I was at home, I was alone, I was watching TV. And he's like, no, you're not getting it. He said, you were alone because you weren't with God. And that was my turning point. That was huge for me. I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm not a evangelist. I'm not anything like that, And but I didn't look at myself the same anymore. It kind of helped me deflate that little bit of ego enough so I could start seeing things a little clearer. And when I came into the program, I read books. This last time I read books. I read the King James Bible. I read 2 books by the Dalai Lama. I read the Quran, an English translated version, which is probably not correct, but whatever. But the one thing that I noticed in all those books, even though I didn't choose a religious faith to follow, the one thing that was constant between everything that I read was the same as the principles in this program: honesty, faith, forgiveness, trust, respect, humility. These are the things we need to live by. And I don't care who you are, these are the morals that people live around the world, right? Around the world. Not because you're black or white or small or fat or tall, I don't care. This is what good people do, right? And these are the things that I haven't been able to do my whole life, right? So these are the things that I needed to look at. And so I started doing the things I needed to do. I did 4 sets of steps in my first year. I fixed up my credit. I took some classes at the Phoenix Center. I went to college, got my license, got my first car, got a job, worked with Reza, and he was gracious enough to keep me on. And got a sponsor, did my home group, hooked in. Stayed hooked in. Stayed hooked in. I didn't get a job and have some money and then all of a sudden I'm not around anymore. I'm still here, right? Today at 3 years clean, I still come in, and as my sponsor said, I got to sit front row center, right? Because if I sit in the back, I'm looking at all of you instead of worrying about why I'm here, right? So I mean, the seriousness of this program is definitely there, right? We all need help. That's why we're here. It comes along with a lot of good times too, like Jody said, like John said. I want to touch on this loneliness that John had. It ties in with that story that I just told with Jody. I mean, I don't have to be lonely anymore. Even when I'm alone, I don't have to be lonely anymore. Because if I'm by myself, I can have something out there. And if I don't have that yet, I still have me. Why can't I be comfortable with me? I am here for the rest of my life. I'm going to be stuck in this, right? Right? So if I don't like this, then what am I going to do, right? So I got to learn to like this. So this is what I do, right? I work the steps. The steps it's a common sense to grow up. Normal people learn these things from the ages of, whatever, 2 years old and up. And we put it off until now, right? Right? But now we're here. Right? That's good, because now we have a chance to start, right? I'm finished with that, and I'm just beginning this. My life is greater than I would have ever imagined because of the things that I've heard in here. Like I follow the steps, and don't get me wrong, don't ever take the book. I'm not speaking any less of the book, but the book gives me instructions. You guys show me how to use them. I come here and I listen to you guys share your stories and your experiences. And that gives me context on how to use these principles, where I have not done it yet, right? Like, you tell a story, he tells a story, she tells, they tell. That's why I keep coming back. And I'm only going to keep learning if I keep coming back, right? Because I'll only know as much as I've taken. And if I'm not coming back, I can't take it anymore, right? So I got to keep coming back. I mean, this is how important this program is to me. Like, I've got a great life. I don't stop. I've got great support in my corner. I am so grateful. Like, I'm probably going to start crying when I talk about this, but I'm so grateful for my family that they even bother to join into this part of my life. Like, I'm the black sheep, right? I'm the alcoholic drug addict, and I got 4 sisters, right? And my parents were model citizens my whole life. They've had problems too, but when it comes down to growing up and doing what you have to do, my family just does that, and now I have them in my corner because I did the work. Right? I didn't just stand around and hope they thought I got better. I started to hook in. I made effort to build the relationships that I needed to have in life. Right? This is part of the program. Right? It's not just about staying sober. It's a design for living. Today I have my finances in order. Today I have a career. Today I have a girlfriend. Today I have a family. And none of those is more important than the rest. The one thing that does stay on top is my sobriety. Because without that I would have none. Right? So I know today that I'm not better than any of you, but none of you are better than me. We are great people. Most of us just don't know yet. Yeah. Right? We are shining stones in the rough. That's all we are. And all we need is a little bit of polishing to get rid of that garbage on the outside. And we will shine brighter than you have ever known. Right? The things that we did out there in the streets, those are things that Olympic athletes do. That's the drive. This is Bill Gates creating Microsoft, is what we do out there. So we put half of that into what we do today in this room, we're going to have an amazing life. I am so grateful for everybody coming out for my cake. I love it.
Piece of paper right there. Read it quickly.
Oh, yay. Okay, so I'm so grateful. And I accept that I'm not perfect. And with that, I'll keep on growing. So thanks, my sobriety. I also have a new book that is being bought. I don't know if it's anonymous or did I say it out?
It's not.
It's anonymous, bought by somebody out there to give to the newcomer. So, Daryl, can you please come up and get a big book?